Okay, hi, welcome along. We're going to do a lesson now on Unit 72, which is welcome to the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, I should say. George Lucas is probably going to sue us. Yeah, I thought we'd just. I know what you're thinking straight away, right? You're thinking, where's Chewie? Okay, well, he's here. Yeah. I'm going to do a lesson on modifications, stores, procedures, part numbers, and serial numbers. Okay, I'll have to just quit that music for a little bit. So here we'll go. And, there we go. Right, back on. So, right, I'm going to share the screen now. I'm going to look at we're going to look at a lesson, unfortunately. Here comes the fun sponge. Where are we? Right, mods and stores, PowerPoint. Okay, slideshow. Right, stores procedures. If you watch the other video that I did with the Lego, right, on goods inwards, quarantine and bonded store, yeah, that's basically, this is the PowerPoint version of that. So there's your goods inwards. You'll have a person standing up here somewhere, just if you see the mouse there, right, and they will be behind the desk. The wagon drivers will come up with the boxes. They'll take them up there. They'll say, right, it'll get checked in, check the box over, make sure it's not damaged, check the basic paperwork, make sure it's from an approved supplier, and move it forward into the system. And then you go, so there you go. Right, and it says this must be separate from the main storage area. Okay. Quarantine store. This is where all newly received part. I'm not going to go through this again because it's on the other video. Okay. So this is just going through the PowerPoint on there. So the aim being to quarantine the parts, right? Prevent the possibility of them being mixed up with serviceable items. That statement there, okay, that's on the screen now. That's one of the things I'm really looking for when I'm assessing your work, okay, that if you've got this point across. So I just want to stress that point, okay? That's what quarantine store is there for. And then you've got bonded stores. Okay, so that top sentence there, this should contain only those materials and parts intended for aeronautical purposes that conform all the requirements. In English, that means, can you fit it straight to an aeroplane? Is it okay to fit straight to the aircraft? Right? Parts will be approved from an approved supplier, purchase order. Yeah. Right, they'll also have, right, at the bottom there, some form of goods inwards inspection, how they get the bonded store. Now, the most important thing about bonded store, hope it's coming up now. So this is just going through the authorized release document at the bottom there. Follow the mouse there. This authorized release document there, okay, which we're talking about the Easa Form 1. And this is what I want to show you. Yeah, so the Form 1, there's a one from Maersk Air Engineering. Talking through this is the sort of things you have on it. If you look there, part number, serial number. This statement here you'll see on all Form 1s, this is the certificate of release to service. Now, part of this is just for equipment. The aircraft itself, the whole aircraft, will have a certificate of release to service that will be signed before it flies. Okay? What I want to draw your attention on here is that this bit, this CRS bit at the bottom is signed, right? And the approval bit will be like your license number. So not just anybody can sign that. Okay, you have to have a license to sign that. And then, or you have to have an approval to sign that. Then up here we've got overhaul, repair, modification, build, serviceability check, calibrate, whatever BPC stands for, I actually don't know. Right, and then tick work carried out, place of overhaul, repair, and then part number, serial number, and component item. So if we put in there, for example, brake pad, yeah, and then we had the ATA code in there, we'll forget that for now, but brake pad, quantity 1, or I don't know, radar scanner, quantity 1. And what you've done to fix it, okay, and then the part number of it and the serial number of it, right? On the right hand side, it's the lifing details. So you have the shelf life, the batch number, job number, cost code, stock location, component life, and life used. The important ones here will be shelf life. That'll be the overall life of the component. So, for example, I'll talk about life on the other lesson as well. But life in there could be rubber items, for example, little seals and things. You've done that with Mark Fuller. Little seals made of rubber. They go brittle after a number of years, so they may only have a shelf life of 5 years or something. Yeah, and it's on there what the shelf life is, and that will be down here. The component life might be in how many hours it's allowed to be fitted to the aircraft for. So it might have a component life of 3,000 hours, right? And then the life used at the bottom, that would state on the Form 1, if you're tracking things on a paper system, the life would be how many hours out of that 5,000 hours it's flown, right? So when you sign that, you'd have to check how many hours it's flown, you update that. It's been on an aircraft, it's used 420 hours, you write it on there, that then corresponds there with what's on the date there, okay? And that can be used to track the life of the component, all right? Job numbers and cost codes are more to do with managing things in and out and make sure the stuff gets paid for when it gets fixed. But the important boxes over here are shelf life. Now, batch number, small components where you can't put a serial number on them. So if it's tiny, for example, a rubber seal, you can't have a serial number for that rubber seal because it's tiny. So on the serial number, it might be batch number 25, and then the batch number would be in there instead of the serial number. And you would track the life of that batch rather than each individual component. Right, okay, so the next slide is the Lufthansa Technik one, and as you see, it's in German, right, but it's also in English, yeah, so you'll see that the language, the international language of aerospace was decided a long time ago to be English. The Germans aren't really happy with that, but you know, but they print everything in German, right, and everything in English. Now, pilots and most aircraft engineers all over the world are expected to be able to speak English. Pilots are, certainly, to some degree. However, you've got your stores and your logistics personnel that may not speak English. So in other countries, you'll have it in English, and you'll also have it in the home country's language as well, which is right and proper that do stuff. And this one's been filled in. The eligibility there, that's a CF650, that's a type of engine. So it says that this pressure tube adapter fits a CF6-50 engine, yeah, and you'll see it's got a serial number, right, and it's also got a part number. More on that later, right. Lifetime record is attached, mark box if applicable. So if you're sending it on to somewhere and they need the lifing details, that might be the ERC that I mentioned, which I don't, have I mentioned that yet? No, that's in the next lesson. Okay, so remember ERC, right? This would be this thing here, this ERC would be this equipment record card, would be that little box there. What else can we talk about in this one? As you see at the bottom, it's been signed. Okay, they've got an authorizing stamp and it's dated, and he's got his name on there as well. Issued on behalf of Lufthansa under authorization reference LBA. So this would be, when we talk about deciding if parts are from an approved supplier, this would be what we're talking about there. Okay. Right. So bonded store, we'll have to have a Form 1 in it. Right, I'm just going to go and stop sharing that screen for now. How are you feeling? How long we've been going on? I don't know. Let's go. Well, Texas Age to upload stuff to YouTube, so I'll do parts as well while I'm here. Look how excited I am about the parts bit. Woohoo! Still awake? Wake up! Wake up! Hello! Right then. There we go. Slideshow. Right, so tracking parts. Obviously, normally I would do this in the hangar. Anyway, tracking and recording parts on and off the aeroplane. What we'll talk about is a part number and a serial number. A part number is used to identify a group of parts that all meet the same specification, and a serial, well, you can all read the screen, okay? So for example, if you said, let's say you want to order a part, right? Um, yeah, okay. How would we use that in aerospace engineering? Part numbers, we want a bit to go, a new bit to fit to our airplane. We don't care what bit it is. Yeah, no, that's wrong, sorry. We want a bit to fit to our airplane. We don't care, you know, which particular one it is. It just needs to be able to be that shape and size and do that job and meet that specification. So then we fit that part. And then we work out that maybe it's one of those parts that came from the factory. The machine wasn't working that day. It didn't weld them together properly, and they start failing and exploding in midair, right? And we know that that machine wasn't working properly on Thursday, the 24th of April, 2017, right? We need some way of working out which parts were made on that day. Now, we can't use the part number because the part number is the same for all of the parts made on that machine. But they would know which serial numbers were manufactured on that day, and then you could track that, yeah, work out where those serial numbers were fitted to, and then you could go and take them off the airplanes and replace them hopefully before an accident happens. So that's why we use part numbers. That's one of the reasons why we use part numbers and serial numbers. Okay, right. So part life. What are we going to attach the part life to? Are we going to attach it to the part number or the serial number? The part life, how long it's been flying for and whether it's worn out or not, is attached to the serial number. Okay, so if you read what's on the page there, right, once it's gone past its lifetime, it will be known as being life X. Okay. Right, remember these PowerPoints are available on Moodle, so if I'm going too fast, you can always read them at your own pace and use them for your assignments and things like that. When I say use them for your assignments, there are people out there who are basically using them a bit too much for their assignments, and that is going to stop straight away. Okay, you do not take stuff and just cut and paste it from the PowerPoints. You've been told about that, you've been warned about that, that can't happen anymore. I'm not going to cover that there, we're doing the lesson. Okay. Right, life parts can be measured many different ways, but the following most common: flying hours, calendar hours, or shelf life, events, number of lands, operations, or fatigue. So the bottom thing, engine health monitoring, is when I was telling you in class that Rolls-Royce have a link to all the engines that are out there in the world on modern aircraft, and they're sending data back all the time, whether the temperature, the vibration, the amount of oil they're using, the temperature in different parts of the engine. Yeah, so that data is all going back, and that comes under engine health monitoring. Okay, and then all their aircraft, how much oil they use every day, will be recorded in the aircraft technical log. That data is analysed by analysts, and then they'll say, yeah, you know, that engine's like basically there's something wrong with it because its temperature's going up and down all the time, and it's using a hell of a lot of oil, you know, and things like that. And then when the oil gets changed and taken out, people analyse the oil and they say, oh, there's quite a lot of titanium in this oil. Maybe this bearing that's made out of titanium is wearing out. So you can diagnose the health of an engine pretty much like you do with a human body. It's like having a blood test, you know. When you take oil out of an engine, it's not just oil. You can send that away to a lab. They have little magnet things in called mag chips, and they attract bits of metal that are suspended in the oil, and they go away, get analysed every so often as part of scheduled maintenance, and they can tell if the engine's going to be okay or not, right? And they can actually diagnose which part of the engine's, if a part of the engine is failing. Like if there's little bits of rubber in there, they can say, oh, that rubber's from the you know, check these seals and things like that. Okay, right. I'm not going to cover any more of that. So, mention the Form 1 already, and the part life details will be on the Form 1, and that will be on the right hand side here, all the part life details there. Okay, right, and there's another Form 1 there, and then, you know, we mentioned up once they've been checked, they'll end up in bonded stores. Right, now when you take the aircraft, the part from the bonded stores onto the aircraft, you can't have all of the Easa Form 1s dangling about on the aeroplane in flight. You can't just have them all stuck to the side of the aircraft. So what you do is you take the data off the Form 1s, and it'll either be transferred to that lifing data about how many life, every single life of every single part or major part of the aircraft will have a different page in the equipment record card, and that will make, sorry, a different page called an equipment record card, and that will be part of the component log. So each aircraft, as part of its tech log, will have a component log specific to that individual aeroplane, right? Under a paper-based system, the files check regularly, so any parts due maintenance can be highlighted on a short forecast sheet. Okay, now that's on a paper-based system. What you'd have to do is, if basically going back in the Air Force days, if you were on the squadron and you were top of the flight sergeant's naughty list, you'd be sentenced to, on a nice sunny day, into the records cell, and you'd have to pull out an aircraft record, go through all the components on the aircraft individually, and check what was due that month. Okay, or maybe even that week, but certainly that month, and then compile a short forecast sheet and write down everything that was due to be changed on the aeroplane that month. Okay, I might do another lesson on this just with a bit of Lego just to get this into people's mind. Can you appreciate that trying to teach you this stuff and trying to keep you interested on this for like an hour's lesson is going to be very difficult to do without being able to ask you questions and do any feedback back that way. So I am trying my best, and I apologise if it's a bit dry. And there's a lot of new stuff in there. That's why on the PowerPoint I've underlined the things on the PowerPoint, like the equipment record card and component log. I might do a little thing with the Lego that I did in the front room to show you it actually going on and off the aircraft. I think I'll probably do that. It's probably a better way of teaching it. Okay, but here's the PowerPoint, tells you what it is. So just going back to that one. So the equipment record card is like the page in the logbook where the data from the Easa Form 1, the lifing data, gets transferred onto the equipment record card, and then when it comes off the aircraft, it comes off the lifing data. You look on the equipment record card, when was it fitted, when was it removed, how much time was elapsed between that. You update the Form 1 and say, right, it was on, the aircraft had flown 200 hours when this part was fitted. The aircraft is now flown 600 hours.
Steve, because he's very old and
you know, has 400
very
hours
old,
to add to that
loses it a little bit and waffles on for about 10 minutes about all sorts of stuff from Xbox games to car number plates to pizzas with anchovies to all sorts. So, right, if you've got lots of things the same as in a boatload of stormtroopers, okay, and they're all the same part number, but you want to single out an individual stormtrooper so you can work out how old that stormtrooper is or how many missions it's done or whatever like that, right? Basically, you give it a
just hearing about it on screen like this is difficult to take in. So I'm going to do another lesson with some Lego and things, put bits on and take things off and do something.
That's a terrible joke, I know.
Right, so the component log stays on an old paper-based aircraft. That would be a physical file that would be held in an office somewhere where that aircraft is based. Right, now you've got Airbus use things called AirNav. Airbus also have a thing called, they have part numbers, right? They have what we call functional identification numbers, which are fitted onto the parts themselves, like a barcode. Yeah. So when you fit a part to an Airbus, you just go bloop. It reads the barcode. It installs that part electronically into the electronic version of the component log. So instead of being a big file, the component log like that, it's now basically it's a file on a computer somewhere, and it can be shared all over the world. Okay, which makes things a lot easier. Okay. And it also means instead of your lifing forecast, when you say, oh, what's due this week, and you'd have to go through all the files for all the aircraft you had and look at all the numbers and put them on a bit of paper like I had to do. Now you click a button, you specify I want life and forecast for next month, you put some dates in there, and it just prints you out a list or puts a list on the screen of what you need to fix or what you need to maintain that week. Okay, easy peasy. Can you describe the procedures for tracking and recording parts on and off the airplane? Yeah, hopefully you can. Right, I'll just can that share now. Okay. Right, I don't know how long that's been. That's going to be quite a large video to upload to YouTube. I'll try and do something with the Lego as well. Hopefully you like the new look. Right, I'm quite chuffed with that. That's on a green screen. If you want to do it yourself, you have to make a green screen at the back. And then the Star Wars website actually had these images on for using virtual backgrounds. Okay. And you'll have to make your own Han Solo costume. Okay. Okay. Let's change it a bit. We'll have a bit of a change around. Yeah. If only the Hangout Newcastle Aviation's kind of that was a better one for changing parts and stuff, wasn't it? Just thought of that. Right, enough of me droning on. That's probably one of the driest lessons you'll get. Remember, difference between part numbers and serial numbers. Look at why we have quarantine and bonded stores. That's in the previous lesson on YouTube, talking about quarantine and bonded stores. But the PowerPoint reminds you why we have bonded stores. That's the answer that we're looking for, and why do we need quarantine stores to stop parts getting mixed up. Right. Okay. Thanks for watching. I'll upload this as soon as I can. What else do I need to say to you? Not much. Small theory flight stuff coming this week. I'll see you later. Okay.